So after connecting with the remote computer, I connected with the remote computer which is available in our lab. So from here I am trying to connect with another computer, SSH student at workstation. When you are connecting with one of the system in the lab here, so we connected here. I want to check IP address. How to check IP address in Linux? IP space ADDR. If I use IP space ADDR, you can see loopback 127.0.0.1, but here it is showing /8. Then ENP1S0, what it is showing? 1725.250.9, and it is showing /24. Is it dynamic or static? We don't know at this moment, right? We don't know whether it is static or dynamic like this. So for this, even though you are new for this environment, I'm going to show one file here, etc sysconfig. Less is the command which will show information page by page. I'm using network scripts here. In that we have IFCFZ wide connection. If I check this configuration, what it is showing here, it is showing type is Ethernet. Is it showing hardware address? So Linux always we prefer from command line, we can see the information. If you observe here, IP address, this is the static identity. And okay, so we can have here, whenever you have boot proto none, whenever you have boot proto none, whenever you find boot proto none or static, we have two keywords you can find it. One is boot proto none or static. If you find that one, that is nothing but static IP. If you find DHCP, that is dynamic here. So if you find any system which is having like a boot proto keyword, let me explain here. So when you are talking about this one, so for you understand here IP config for Windows, right? Now I am going to clear the screen and I am going to share that one. Now clear all right. So now I am going to check with Linux. In Linux box we have Linux. What we have to use? We have to use either IP space ADDR command, or we can use IP space A. These two, any one of the command we can use it. Okay. Old command we have if config. If config is depreciated. If config is the old command. This is the old command. But whenever you are going to check IP address details here, you are getting details. But what I am recommending here, I am recommending here, instead of manually checking with IP config or IP space A or IP space ADDR, I would recommend you to use ls command or cat command. We can use it. We will learn that one while learning Linux basics. So, okay. So this is the command we need to use it. Okay. So now you can use. Okay. I think one moment. We have to use this command here. So we have to use either less command or we can use cat. We have cat. So with the help of less or cat, we have to read the file. This is nothing but reading file. So it's nothing but reading file. It's nothing but reading file. This is to read file. We can use to read. We are not editing the file. To read a file, either we can use less and the file path, or we can use cat file path here. In this, we need to look at boot proto. Boot proto. In Windows, we are checking DHCP enabled yes or no, right? If you find DHCP enabled in Windows, yes, that is dynamic. If it is no, static. Boot proto none, I can have none, or if you find the static, that is the static IP. If you find same information, boot proto DHCP, if you find it, that is dynamic. So in Windows, how to identify that one? In Windows, if
Disable or enable?
DHCP enable yes. If you find yes, that is dynamic. If you find DHCP enable yes, that is dynamic. If you find no, that is static. So this is representing, this part is representing as whether it is static or dynamic. So if you have this part, either Windows or Linux, okay, in Windows or Linux, if you find like this, that is static IP. If you find like this, if you find like this is dynamic. So this is we can call it as dynamic IP. It is represented. Sorry, we reverse it, right? So this is, we reverse it. One moment. Let me change the value. DHCP. DHCP. Yes. DHCP. No. If you find like this, no, that is static IP. Okay. Static or constant IP. Static IP. So when you are talking about here, this is nothing but dynamic IP. Dynamic IP. So whenever you have DHCP enabled no, that is static IP. Whenever you have DHCP enabled yes, that is dynamic IP. In Linux, especially when you are reading the file by using less or cat command, we can use it. We will also learn what is less, what is cat. This is to read a file. We need to give the path. Whatever the path you have, you can just use the tab to see the path. Then boot proto none or static. If you find it, that is static. If you find boot proto DHCP, that is dynamic. You have clarity here, all of you? Or any confusion?
We are good.
Nothing, sir.
Clear? So how many of you very new for networking?
Myself, sir. Myself.
Okay. So whoever new for networking, if you are following, everyone will follow. That's what we need to check. If you are following, and whoever new for networking, if you have no confusion, others also can follow easily. Okay. So if you have any confusion, please feel free to ask any query, no issues at all. Okay. Now we need to conclude this networking concept with one more concept, that is subnet mask here. So first we identify the class. Second, we identify the private IP or public IP. Third, we are trying to identify whether are you getting static IP or dynamic IP. Static IP in Linux you need to identify with a different way. In Windows we need to identify with different ways. Okay, both ways you need to know that, because as administrator you are going to work in some of the environment Windows systems available as well as Linux machines also available. So you can't say I learn only Linux, I don't know Windows, like that. But again, I already said that we need to learn concept with interactive and involved methodology. Whatever you are learning, suppose for example you learned IP address concepts. Let us imagine I am not explaining Windows, for example. You learn just simply in Linux how to read IP address and what is IP address. Immediately your mindset should check in Windows. Okay, how to read IP address. Suppose I didn't share any documentation, I didn't explain like this. But what you have to check, you have to Google it. In Google, you have to check how to check IP address in Windows. We'll have several ways. You can also learn the same way. So that is always a best option, because as an administrator, you need to have multi operating system skill set and multi distros. You need to know various distros also in Linux. So that's reason, don't stick to only one flavor or one distribution. Try to do R&D on different distributions as well, different operating systems. So this is very important. Subnet mask concept is important for exam also. So I'm going to share here. So we can say subnet mask, because usually whenever whoever learning networking concepts in CCNA or a kind of courses, they will have some idea, but they always forget the kind of subnetting concepts. So I'm giving one simple technique for you to remember the subnetting concept. So I'm not explaining in a deeper way, but I'm explaining a particular way where you can remember easily. Okay. So
one question. Yeah. So what is the use of subnet?
For that, so first let us learn about that subnet mask, or we can call it as net mask. What is subnet mask or net mask? So the purpose of net mask or subnet mask. Suppose for example, if you take a big hall like 2000 SFT, 3000 SFT hall, and you want to conduct classes, if you take typical scenario of education institute, or you want to manage your office where we have like 50 to 60 employees there, you want to manage under 300 SFT. Okay, there is a hall, you have no partitions. Can you able to manage it? Can you able to manage it?
No, sir.
Yeah, we can manage it. No? We don't need partition. Directly we can have desks and we can manage it. You can manage it. But the problem is we'll have a lot of disturbance and noise, right? Managing without disturbance is one way, managing with disturbance is another way. So if you have a big hall with 60 employees and all are connected to the single network and all are chatting and all are doing their work, at that moment you are getting a lot of disturbance. What you will do in 3000 SFT area, you will ask your interior decorator or carpenter, you will make some temporary partitions, right? You will make temporary partitions. You can break anytime whenever you require it, but you have to make separate rooms like hall in the sense waiting room. You can have a specific production project room, and you can also have servers room. You can also have manager room. You can also have directors room. Like that, we will divide into different rooms, and based on the requirement, we will give related specifications, right? So that is going to reduce your noise and it is going to increase the performance of your staff. Similar way, when you have a network, if you take 10 series of IP address, you can connect to 16 million IP systems at a time. If you take class B IP address, you can connect to 65,534 systems you can connect at a time. If you take class B, you can connect 254 systems at a time in a particular network. So like that, whenever you are connecting more than 10 or 20 or 30 systems in a single network, what we'll get lot of noise and broadcasting packets. So whenever your systems are connected to the switch, the packets are traveling from one system to other system via your switch. At that moment, you will get lot of noise and disturbance. So what subnet mask will do, like how we are making partition. Subnet mask, it is an imaginary mask. It is an imaginary mask which can differentiate differentiate classes. Whatever the classes we have, each and every class having different subnet mask. and it can also differentiate networks. So if you want to divide a big network into smaller network, you need to use subnet mask here. So it can divide a big network into smaller network. We can say larger network into smaller networks. So it will reduce noise as well as it will improve the security, because from one department to another department, one network to another network, we can't share files or we can't access any content. One is the security, other one is reduce the noise. Okay, that's the reason we use subnet masking, subnet mask concept. So if you use here, we have two types of representation of net mask or subnet mask. Let us take again class here. If you take range here, net mask, because many guys they will call it as net mask or subnet mask, but whatever the word, if you find it, that is related to subnet mask only, because technical people who are working in Linux related boxes or routers, they always call it as net mask. Whoever working in Windows, they always call it as subnet mask. Both are valid class A. Then you can find the range. What is the range here? 1 to 126, right? This is the range. Okay, this is the range. For this range, what is the net mask we have? We will have 255 0 here. So this is the default net mask for class A. Whenever you find class A, you can find net mask as 255.0.0.0. So this is also we can represent like /8. Why it is /8? Can anyone explain? Can anyone?
First bit.
Yeah. So
Only 8 bits it contains.
Yes. So whenever you have octet, if you take octet here, whenever you are taking octet here, let us have separate thing. Let me. Plus range net mask or subnet mask. So if we take first example, class A, then if we take the range 1 to 126, because 0 is invalid according to our concept, but 0.0.0.0 is any. Then when you are taking 127, that is loopback. Here we are representing here 255.0.0.0, or we can represent here as /8. Why we can represent here? The purpose of this one is suppose if you take IP address with we take the example 4 octets we have it. 4 octets we have it. Each octet will have a value minimum 0, maximum 255, right? So it is having 0 and 255 we have. So whenever you have this value is common for every octet here. Whatever we are learning, this 0 to 255. 0 to 255 is same for each and every octet. So 0 to 255, again we can also say here 8 bits, right? 8 bits. Each block is 8 bits. So when you are talking about 8 bits each block, 8 into 4, 32 bit. So if you have 8 bits occupied, then only we are saying /8. If 8 bits are not occupied, for this I need to explain one more concept, that is we can say octet calculation. But if you have little bit confusion here, I'll explain that one. Otherwise, I don't want to confuse you at this level. Class B. Now I am giving here 128 to 191 is the range. Then net mask here is 255, 255, 0.0. When you have 255, 255 in 2 octets, what is the meaning of that? 8 plus 8. What we can say? 16. We can represent as 16 here. So similar way, if you take class C here. So the range is 192 to 223 here. These ranges you must remember, otherwise you can't identify class A, class B, class C like this. So I am saying here 255, 255, 255, 0. This is also represent with /24 here. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 3 8s, we can say 24. So either you can represent with /8 or you can represent with /16 or 24 based on the class. But if you observe here, IP space IF config I am using, IF config. So according to our concept, if you look at 172, what is this? Class A, class B? Class A or class B?
Class B.
Class B. Class B means what is the subnet mask you should have it? What is the net mask you should have it? According to class B, 16. 255, 255, you should have like this, right? But what is the net mask you have here? 255, 255, 255, 0. So net mask we are managing based on our requirement here. Okay. This net mask is not a default net mask. As an admin, we are changing net mask here. Okay. Then if you go for loopback here, 127 is belongs to class A, you can find 255,000. Similar way, if you take IP space IP space A here, so you can observe here, instead of 255, 255, 255, what they are representing here? 24. Instead of 255,000, what they are representing here? 8. So either way we can represent. But whenever you find any type, you need to know how to consider as 24 or 8 or 16, or how to consider, if you find 8, how to consider as 255,000, you need to have an idea. Vice versa, you need to know that. If you know 8, it is 255,000. If you find 255, 255,000, it is nothing but /16. If you find 255, 255, it is nothing but /24. So this is the way of representing subnet mask. For every class, we will have different subnet masks. But in our lab, we prepared a kind of environment, all the systems having class B IP address, but net mask is /24. Why? Because if you have this kind of scenario, if you want to understand why we are representing like this, suppose if I take a simple scenario, I am taking 172.25.1.1/16. I am taking one example like this, because 172 is by default 172 by default is class B. That's the reason you will have /16. What is the meaning of /16? Many cases, by reading this kind of representation, people may feel 1 to 16. Sometimes they may feel this is the range like 1 to 16, but it's not range. It's a subnet mask. If you find 16, what you have to mention first? 16 is nothing but, you have to mention 16 is nothing but 8.8, because we need to divide. You need to subtract 8. Maximum value is 8. That's the reason you have to subtract. What is the net mask we have? 255, 255, 0.0. So you need to identify this one. Whenever you have 16, you need to subtract the same way. So based on that, we are getting 255, 25500. For this also we can say 255, 255, 0.0. Whenever you have subnet mask like this, what here we have two words, two keywords. One is we can say network ID. Network ID. What is the network ID here? 172.25 is the network ID. How to identify as network ID here? Whatever the net mask occupied here, see 255 is the maximum value, right? 0.25, 255 is the maximum value. Whatever the value we have above, that is fixed one. So I always represent this is locked. We can't modify the value. This is locked. This is also locked. Why? Because maximum value already reached. This value is not locked. Why? Because it is going to change from 1 to 255. You can choose any value, 0 to 255, 0 to 255 like this. So here we have network ID. If you take network ID here, what is the network ID in this area? In second example, 170.25. So what is the host ID will have any value from 1 to 0 to 255. But according to the example, what is the host IP here? Host IP here. If you look at host ID, if you look at host ID 1.1. If you look at here, what is the host ID here? 2.1. So if you observe carefully, this is the concept of subnetting you need to understand at first level. You need to identify two different values. What is the network ID of the particular given subnet mask or net mask? And we need to know host ID is host ID is host ID is 1.1. So if you observe here, when you want to communicate in your network, this is common, or we can say same for the network. So then they can communicate it from one system to another system. They can communicate it. So they can communicate from one system to another system because it is common and same. So if you go for this, this must be unique. It should not have duplicate. If you have duplicate, you will get conflict. So whenever you have 1.1 or 2.1, both are different. That's reason from this mission to this mission, or from this mission to this mission, communication will happen. Why? Because network ID is same, then both are able to communicate, and host ID is different. If host ID different, that is good. Why? Because in single one home, if you have duplicate name, if anybody call you from outside, both may respond or both may not respond. Similar way, if you get IP conflict after same network ID, if you have same host ID, you will get IP conflict. That's the reason host ID always must be unique. So total network ID and host ID combination we can call it as IP address. So here normally IP address is nothing but we are learning simply IP address as a value, but it's nothing but a combination of network ID plus it is nothing but host ID. Combination of network ID and host ID, that is IP address. So it might have 4 blocks, but the combination of network ID and host ID we have it. So you understand this part here, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt?
From my end, no doubt.
If you have no doubt, I am changing example now. This example I am taking here. I am changing example here. 24. I am also changing 24. If you have 24, what is the value we'll have? 24. Then instead of 8, we'll have 0. 8 plus 8 plus 8, 24. 2550. Similar way, if you go for this is also 255. Now observe here. What is the network ID here?
172.25.1.
Yeah. Let me move this one. Okay. I have to get here 17.25. I have to get 1, right? This is what we need to have it. Why? Because we have 255, 255, 255. You have to take the value 1725, 1. Why? Because we need to consider 3 octets. So 3 octets we need to consider. Why? Because this is locked, this is locked, this is also locked. That's the reason I have to take 1725, 1 here. If I take the same example, if I take the same example, what is the value you'll have? 2.
2.
So if you take 2 here, according to the concept 1725.2 here. So it should be common according to the concept, common or same. Do you have same or different now?
Same.
Same, huh?
Different,
Not
sir.
same.
Sorry.
Different.
So different.
Different.
So here we have 1. Here we have so what is the value we have? 1. So according to the concept, IP address is nothing but network ID plus host ID 170.25.2.1, 170.25.1.1. Okay. So now it is unique. It must be unique. Even if it is same, no worry here. Here you can see same, right? It must be unique, but here you have same. But here you have unique value. Unique value. Unique. This value found now unique. Not same, right? 17.25.1 is different. We can say not same or not same. So that's why we are using 17.25 series with /24 in our lab. These are all missions connected to same network, but based on your network ID, every system is in different network because means unique or not same network. So we can say simply different network. Every system is in different network. So we can say every system in different network. Like corporate, we have network here, different network. So each and every department, how they are unable to communicate. Similar way, we have different network here. Here IP is same. Looks like ID is same. See, for example, we have 2 houses having same name. Like one member is having same name, like Suresh or Rob. Then there is no issue because both are different identity houses. That's the reason there is no conflict at all. So these 2 systems are able to communicate or not? This is the network ID we are entering. Now, is it able to communicate?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Why?
Yeah.
How?
Both are the different networks.
If it is different network, are they able to communicate? They can't communicate.
Yes.
If both are different network, we can't communicate. But if you want to allow to communicate here, you must have a router. Router symbol like this only. Both are unable to communicate, but when you have no communication, you should have router to allow communication. Okay, router only will allow communication here. If you have router or gateway, it will allow communication. Gateway. So you understand the gateway importance here. If you don't have gateway, you can't communicate. It won't allow to communicate. So usually people will choose this gateway or router based on their requirement configuration. They will allow traffic from one department to other department. If they won't allow, they will allow with the help of router or gateway rule only. So if you add rule, it will allow, otherwise it won't allow. So by default, it is not allowing communication, but based on your router or gateway, it is allowing communication. You got clarity here? So yesterday also we learned what is gateway. Gateway is nothing but a mediator in between public network and private network. So that is what you need to have an idea. Any doubt at this level? So gateway is forwarding your packet from LAN to WAN. DNS is going to resolve your request name to IP and IP to name. So these are all details we need to know that. So you can take different examples. If you are really interested in networking concepts, you can see a lot of YouTube videos, but sometimes you may confuse initially. So first as an administrator, Linux administrator or Windows administrator, first of all, you need to know how to identify IP address, class, private or public, dynamic or static. So after that, whenever you have some value, you need to know why the value is. So if they ask you about what is net mask, you can say /24. Don't tell 255.255.255.0 like this. Many guys, they will tell as a beginner, they always mention 255.255.255.0. But you can simply say /24 or /16, /8. Apart from /8, /16, /24, you have middle values also. Based on the corporate world or network requirement, they always configure those things. When you try to recap all these things, it's nothing but identity of your PC, but even the without identity. Because see, normally as an administrator, whenever you have an issue, first of all, you need to check your network, whether your LAN cable is there or not. If LAN cable and LED is coming, you need to check your IP address. If you have proper IP address, again, you need to check whether you are able to communicate with the remote computer or not. How to check whether you are able to reach remote computer or not? With the help of ping command. Ping the particular IP 172.25.1.1, or we can also ping, we can specify host name. Whatever the host name we have, we can just check it out. How to check our required host name? How to check host name? To check IP space A. To check host name, what is the command we have to use?
Host name.
Host name only. Host name command will display here simply like this. So again, in Linux, we need to know one more important point, prompt here. We have two types of prompts. Let us conclude this concept first. So in Linux box, you can find in Linux, you can have different prompt, $#. What is the difference in between this here? Any idea? Regular
Means
user prompt. This is regular user prompt. Then this is a root user, or we can call it as admin prompt. So the prompt will define your privileges here. The prompt will define your privileges. So if you have $, that is regular user prompt. If you are having hash, that is the root prompt. Now, according to our concept, if you go through that here, so do you have $ or hash here?
$.
Dollar means it's a regular user prompt only. Suppose if I am using SU minus enter, I am using here SU minus enter. So I am giving the password of the user is Red Hat. Root password is Red Hat. What do you have here?
Say
Hash
root privilege.
root privileges. This, if you find $, it's a regular user prompt. If you find hash, it's a root privilege. You can also see here root user, student user. Whenever you are typing host name, it is showing host name simply. But along with that, you can also see who logged into that, who has logged into that. To check that one, we can also type who am I. If I type who am I, what it is showing? Root. You can also check who space, yam space, I also. You can see who logged into that here now? So when I am trying here, it is showing root, but when I am trying who am I, it is showing student actually logged into that, but he switched to root account, right? SU means becoming super user, it is showing. So if I try who, it will show all the information, right? It is showing two terminals. So one user connected by 731, other user connected by 816, like this. It is showing that related details. Okay, so we can see how many users are working in your server. Also, we can find with the help of who command. Apart from that, we can also use W. W will show clearly. See, it is showing 816 and 731. Similar way, you can see this one. Again, it is showing little bit more details here. It is showing two users here. So it is also saying that this server is running. Upon running, what it is showing? 2 days, right? Two users logged into that. Load average, it is saying here. Load average, no worry about this load average right now. Then along with that, you can find here student 1725.250. This is the IP address of the person who is coming from login. And now I use SU minus, what it is showing here in bracket? Privilege. So these are all we need to have an idea. Again, we'll discuss those things while learning Linux. Okay. So we are not yet started Linux commands. We are using basic commands like who am I, who, and again we are using W. These are all basic commands we are learning. So if you have any doubt, please let me know.